Our West Ham fans, West Ham are playing tomorrow in the FA Cup. So going to the third round, it's a chance again for a chance of silverware. Let's hope we take it seriously. I think we will. There is obviously with West Ham, as there always seems to be at the moment, there's going to be a number of changes due to the number of injuries we have, players off at AFCON, and it's going to be an interesting game. Bristol have actually been fairly good this season, although they're 11th in the league. They've got a pretty resilient defence, 28 goals conceded all season, which ranks them around about 5th, 6th, or joint 5th, 6th best defence in Championship. So they're not a team that's going to give up a huge amount of chances. What they do struggle with is scoring, so that does give us obviously an opportunity in which to look to try and exploit, because we have been very clinical this season. That is one of the things that we have been good with. Obviously, there have been other conversations and other negatives that have come out, but on the positive side, we have been really good. When we're given chances, we tend to take those chances. Now, what's going to be interesting is the formation we go with, who we kind of pick. I think we'll go with our standard 4-3-3. However, I do think there will be a number of changes to the team. It will be a bit of a blend, much what we saw in the game against Liverpool. I do think we'll probably line up fairly kind of similar to this. I think Fabianski is pretty much nailed on as our cup goalkeeper. Ben Johnson, I think, will continue at right back after his last game, and it obviously be in the cup. Mavropanos and Ogbonna, we essentially have no other options. Zuma is out injured with no real kind of timeline. Obviously, Aged is off to AFCON, and obviously we moved Tila Kera on as of yesterday on loan to Monaco. So we're pretty much set in what we have to do. Obviously, we do have the opportunity to maybe call up a youngster like Casey to bring into the defence, but I don't see that being something that we do. At left back, I do think we'll rest Emerson and bring in Aaron Cresswell. Midfield is an interesting one because, again, we've seen in other rounds where we've rested Alvarez of the three midfielders. I think if we are to rest a midfielder, I think that is likely to be the player, again, that we drop to the bench. Maybe there's a chance for, say, the likes of Orford to get an opportunity in this game. Again, I think most likely we will see any youth, if we do see any, will be coming from the bench. So I think, again, when we look at that midfield, we're probably going to look at Fornals playing centrally with Ward-Prowse. And this may be finally the opportunity that Cornet has been crying out for, that many of the fans have been crying out for, and an opportunity to put himself in the shop window, because this is January. And as we know, we are looking to get rid of a number of players. Same with Ben Rama. Get him some minutes, hopefully get a good performance. Again, that can also ignite potentially some interest, or at least a bid coming in within the next few days. And up top, again, I think it's 50-50 between Danny Ings and Mubama. I think we've seen probably Mubama's getting the most minutes, so he may actually be the one that starts, which would be a good thing for us, because we'll be able to see how he plays against championship level, because there's a potential that maybe we keep him, maybe we put him out on loan as well in this window. The likelihood, I would suspect, that we will keep it. So one of the things we're going to have to be, we are going to have to look to break down Bristol. They are going to look to kind of hit us on the counter-attack. As I say, they are fairly comfortable defensively. They tend to play in a 4-2-3-1 formation, or when they kind of switch to another formation, it primarily seems to be a 4-4-2. So if they get to a 4-4-2, it's going to give them a really good kind of spread across the pitch, a really good kind of balance in which to ensure that they're kind of not stretched, on counter-attacks, and they kind of have a good kind of coverage across the pitch. Now, if they're adventurous, then obviously they may go with the single striker. They may then look for kind of play an advanced number 10, and obviously two wingers. If they do, I think that would be more kind of sat a bit deeper, so it'd be a bit of like a 4-4-1-1 kind of situation. One of the players who will potentially be playing it will be Andres Wyman, who you may remember from his time at Aston Villa. The veteran player has been a bit of a legend down at Bristol City since going down there. So he will be someone who will obviously be looking to get one over on a Premier League team, being an ex-Premier League player. So it's going to be a game where we need to keep our wits about us. Yes, we have the quality. We should be able to get past Bristol. However, we can't obviously go into the game being complacent. So that's why I do expect that David Moyes is going to go with a pretty solid, pretty good first team, similar to what was out on the Liverpool game. Hopefully we get a better result. There are players that are going to be essentially put out there to prove a point. The likes of Ben Johnson, he is going to be now trying to make that point. Obviously with Soufal, he was out obviously with illness in the last game, so should be back probably for the next one. But again, it's a point of if Ben Johnson can have a good game, he not only improves his chances for a new contract, which has been in conversation. And whilst I know people would like to get rid of Ben Johnson, the thing that we all need to remember is that within the European Conference, also European Europa League, you do require at least as a minimum 4 homegrown players that are club trained. He is one of only 3 club trained players that we have, the others being Anang and obviously Coventry. If Coventry goes, then obviously we're down to 2. If Ben Johnson goes, down to 1, etc. And if Anang goes, then we're down to none. And then you can only register 21 players because you have to leave 4 slots open for those 4 players who would have been club trained. So whilst I understand the conversations and maybe the desire to sell Ben Johnson, I would really temper that with the fact that we are desperately low on homegrown players. We are desperately low on club trained. So we do have to be mindful if we are going to remain, say, in a European competition, say if we win this cup competition, it's very early stages, but let's just say for argument's sake, we was to win the FA Cup going into next year, we don't actually have, if we lose Coventry, Anang and Ben Johnson, we don't have any club trained players unless we call back Trott, which again means that we're 3 short. And before you ask, no, we can't call up anyone from the under 18 squad to put as a club trained player because they don't count to the UEFA A list until they are under 21. But I digress. Back to the game. I think this is going to be an interesting game for the likes of Cornet. It will give him the chance to maybe kind of make a claim in which to stay for the duration of the season, to make a claim for not a starting berth, but a much better consideration when it comes to minutes from the bench. Obviously, he's had very limited minutes. You could argue that his career has very, very much gone backwards since signing for West Ham for one reason or another. And this could be a great moment for him either to seize this opportunity in which to try and forge back an opportunity at West Ham, or at least to garner more interest from outside parties. Obviously, the last time he had any significant minutes, he obviously got an assist in the Europa League game, which resulted in the win. We haven't seen him really in earnest since then, so it would be nice to see him get some minutes. It's been obviously quite difficult for all of us as fans to acknowledge or to accept how bad his injury is because we haven't seen him since he's come back, so we don't know how big an impact that injury has had on him. So it would be good to see him start the game. Obviously, Fornals does have a point to prove. He's also attracting interest from Napoli, I believe, as well. So there's a number of players, as well as Ben Rama, who really, if a good performance, could actually give one of those teams a nudge in which to buy them, put in a bid for them, for us to then to move them on and us to part ways with players that arguably haven't really been where we needed them this season and arguably for parts of last season. So it's a great opportunity for them to really kind of put themselves either in the window and on the market with a good performance, or to maybe give David Moyes a bit of a headache and something to think about when it comes to his overall selections throughout the remainder of the season, especially in this period where we have plenty of injuries. And unfortunately, when we talk about injuries, and Mikel Antonio, who was on the path to coming back to the 11, has had a slip. I think it was talked about in the Telegraph. That slip has resulted in a further delay to him coming back from his injury and is now ruled out for the duration of January. Let's hope that's a precautionary kind of figure. But again, that may spur West Ham into going into the market because obviously being out without Kudus, without the likes of Paqueta as well for injury, Antonio would have been a very good player to have come back at this period, but unfortunately he is now out. So let's hope that does now push us to go into the market to move with a bit of intensity on the likes of Garassi, a player that could be very good for us in that centre forward role and allow us to kind of move forward. And as we go on potentially into this competition, if we get past Bristol City, then give us a great footing in which to obviously keep the team fresh, to then kind of keep going on the three fronts that we're currently in, which is Europa League, Premier League, and obviously, hopefully, the FA Cup. Again, with everything with West Ham, always set pieces are going to be vitally important, which is why I do expect Souček to start as well as Ward-Prowse, because Ward-Prowse obviously is a set piece maestro. His assists have come predominantly through those set pieces this season. And I think with Souček, as we know, he is the marathon man. And I believe that he will start the game. And any youth, as I say, I believe will come on probably as off the bench, in the second half if we are performing well. The likes of Orford, I would expect to be on the bench, maybe even Marshall. Obviously, Devine will either start or will be on the bench with the likes of, say, Bowen as well, in case we need to call upon him in which to kind of change the tide of the match. But yeah, it's a really short one today, guys. This is the FA Cup. We all love a good cup run. So let's hope that even though there's going to probably be a fair bit of rotation, the players that are coming into the team are coming in to prove a point, to make it clear to David Moyes that they should have some role in West Ham going forward, or at least making a point of to interested parties that they are a player that is worth putting a bid in for. Again, when we talk about Bristol City, they are going to be a team that's probably going to look to hit us on the counter-attack. They are pretty resolute defensively, as I say, this season, 5th, 6th joint best defence in the Championship. So it's not a team to be taken lightly. They're off the back of 3 wins as well in the EFL. So they are going to be in good spirits and with great confidence. So it's going to be upon us to go out there to put our foot on the kind of on the gas and to kind of put our stamp on the game and to really kind of take the match to them and try and actually show our Premier League superiority. But yeah, we're going to leave it there for today. I'm hoping we get a win. I feel a 2-1 victory. I can never just say that I expect us not to concede. I know we've had 3 games without conceding. However, this is an FA Cup. There are going to be a number of changes. So there could be a bit of a cohesion issue on the pitch. But I do feel that we could and should win. I got a feeling that we will probably be, again, set pieces is going to be our main avenue of success. What will be interesting is if we play Mbama up top, is how he links play and how he starts to kind of play between those lines, look to kind of get himself involved, as well as then obviously looking to create opportunities. We haven't really had much opportunity to see him to do that. When he has played a couple of games, he's been a bit sloppy in possession. And in the last game against Brighton, he was pretty much only able to go and press and to run at a defender before the defender passed it. So he didn't really get much time. So I'm hoping he would start. We can start to then see him with more involvement in the game. And obviously it'd be a great opportunity to really start to try and judge where he is as a player, because as I say, we haven't really had much opportunity. We've had a couple of flashes, but never really had the opportunity to have a full kind of 90 minutes, 80 minutes to kind of really judge where he's at in terms of, league level, etc. But let's hope that we get the win. Let us know your thoughts. If you've liked this video, please do like, please do subscribe, all of those wonderful things. And as ever, come on, you Irons.